What's up, Buttercup? Welcome back to my channel. Today's book review is 355, the Women Spies series, and this is specifically about the Culper Ring in and around New York City during the American Revolutionary War, and this was written by Kit Sargent. This is book one in a trilogy all about female spies. I picked this up specifically because it's about spies in the American Revolutionary War. My first ever novel, A Patriot's Tale, is about that, though it's set in South Carolina. It has nothing to do with the Culper Ring, but I am just really intrigued with spies that are women. It's rare, but it does happen. So people, mainly men, telling me that there's no such thing as women spies, learn to read. Thank you. Now, we don't know who 355 truly was, but there are three women that are most likely 355. The other two still did a lot to help the Culper Ring and George Washington during this time period. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Let's just jump into the summary on the back. This summary is accurate to the book. We love to see it, and it's going to give you a lot more information in a timely manner than me just ranting about the summary. I'm not great at summaries. 1776, British sympathizer Margaret Meg Moncrieff, probably said that last name wrong, it's French, I'm so sorry, expects to find the carefree America she remembers as a youth when she returns from her Irish boarding school. Instead, she finds the new country at war, with her father on one side and her new love, Aaron Burr, on the other. Will her misguided attempt to end the war result in dire consequences for the Continental Army? After her husband Jonathan is captured by the British and dies abroad, one of the notorious prison ships, a pregnant Elizabeth Bergen, realizes she is stronger than she once thought. But when the Culper Ring enlists her help on a prison heist, is Elizabeth willing to sacrifice everything in order to save the lives of strangers? Instead of finding herself in danger when British intelligence officer Major John Andre shows up at her family's doorstep, Sally Townsend finds herself falling in love. Nonetheless, she seizes the opportunity to pass on intelligence to her brother Robert, knowing that one false move could result in the noose for them both. What will happen when Sally finds out that Major Andre is playing the same dangerous game as she and Robert, albeit for the other side? And before I put down this book, I do love this cover. It is very historical fiction, and I'm thinking that the woman on the cover is Meg, because this is fairly fancy dressing, and Meg is, out of the three, the richest of the women, so I'm thinking it's Meg, though it might be Sally Townsend, though I think Sally has brown hair, so I'm gonna go with Meg. This book is under 400 pages, but it reads very quickly. Well, yes, because it's under 400 pages. Whatever. It reads fast, but not in a bad way. I know some people think that it reads fast means it's bad. Absolutely not for me personally. So I picked up this book a couple months ago, but I didn't read it until December 2024, and I am very happy to have found it. It is self-published. We love to see a self-published queen, and I, like I said before, was very interested in it because I am really intrigued by the American Revolutionary War, female spies, and my first book is about both of those things. This is very similar to Turn, Washington's Spies, which is actually like, oh my gosh, 7 years old or maybe more. It was on AMC. It had quite a few seasons. I was obsessed with it during college. That kind of sort of dates me, but not really. Here we go. I'm just calling myself out. But I see a lot of similarities, not in a bad way, with the novel and turn Washington Spies, and I love to see it. This is very historically accurate, and Kit Sargent, in her author's note, thinks that Sally Townsend was 355 because she had more connections than Elizabeth and Meg. And I tend to agree with that, and I'm pretty sure that in the show Turn Washington Spies, they made her 355 as well. But we don't know for sure. However, I don't know if it really matters because all three women were involved in the Culper ring in some way or another. They all made a huge difference in the American Revolutionary War. Meg starts out as a loyalist to the crown, but you know, certain things happen. Not gonna spoil it. It's also just like historical accuracy, but things happen and she's not pleased. So then she kind of does her own naughty thing. I love to see that. She actually wrote a biography, or no, memoir. Yeah, a memoir. Multiple memoirs. She, after a certain point in her life, just said, F it, and did her own thing. And then she wrote a bunch of books. I'm just gonna say books. It's probably memoirs about herself, and I want to see if I can find them because she is spicy. I understand why. Sally Townsend is probably the most well-known. And then Elizabeth Bergen, she was real as well, of course. And she helped, like the description said, with a prison ship heist that was successful. And then she had to escape. And she was one of the few women that was given a pension after she petitioned the United States government for help, because as a woman and a widow, she doesn't have that many options during this time. And she really risked her life for George Washington and the Culper ring and the prisoners on that ship while having 3 children. So she did receive that pension. Good for her. Sally actually never married, and her brother Robert never married, so they lived together and just chilled, apparently. They just did their own thing after the war ended, and they died in their homes. I really enjoyed this novel. It, like I said, reads very quickly and well. So you might be wondering, why is it 4 stars and not 5? You know, I think that the ending regarding Major John Andre was rushed. I would have happily read 20, even 30 pages and had this book longer, because Major John Andre and the Benedict Arnold situation, that whole treason between Benedict Arnold and the Continental Army, and then Major John Andre being hanged, that's a huge deal. And yes, it is talked about in this book, but I wanted more. And this is kind of going to be wild for some people, but this is written in 3rd person. I think it would have been better in 1st person. Yes, usually I don't like multiple points of views. My max is about 2. But in this case, 3 was fantastic because it makes total sense. If these were the 3 women that were most likely to be 355, then of course you put in the 3 women that would most likely be 355. But I think I wanted to be more inside their minds, and that's how you can do that basically with ease, is to write characters in 1st person point of view. But overall, I absolutely recommend 355 by Kit Sargent. I don't want to go too deep into the actual story because it's very historical spoilery, and I also already gave you a bunch of spoilers, but like not on purpose. I mean, it's been what, 250 years, 300 years? you should read the book to get those historical spoilers. There's a lot of gasping that I did. I was like, oh my gosh, that happened. Sometimes you don't need to make up things. You just need to tell history, and it's mind-blowing. And I think the Culper ring and everything that they did, including 355 and the other women involved, was astounding. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.